Army of the Dead. This is a new Netflix movie made by Zack Snyder. He's of course the man who made the good DC movies, and he made Dawn of the Dead back in 2005. That was a really good zombie movie, scary, creepy, all that. You know, it's a remake of the classic Dawn of the Dead, but the remake was very, very good. And now he's back again, making another zombie movie. This is apparently something he had in mind since 2005, pretty much, when he made Dawn of the Dead. He's actually been thinking about Army of the Dead for a long time, but now he's making it. So the premise of this movie is a little bit different to what we've seen in other zombie movies, which is cool. It actually spiced up the genre a little bit. Basically, there's been a zombie outbreak just in Las Vegas. You know, everyone in Las Vegas is infected, so they have to board off the city pretty much by putting down shipping containers and, you know, just walling the whole thing off. And therefore you've just got a city of zombies. Nothing's getting in, nothing's really getting out. But a big rich man approaches our main character Dave Bautista and says to him, listen, there's $200 million in a safe in Las Vegas underneath the casino. You get a team, you go in there and get the money, get back out, and you can have a big chunk of that 200 million. And that is your story. Now the intro is just awesome. It sucks you right in. It's so fun. It's kind of comical. It's just exciting. The whole movie in general is just fun. And after that cool intro, you know, about 10-15 minutes, you've just got the whole movie set up and you're just ready. You know, you sat there, you're like, okay, this is gonna be a wild ride. I'm intrigued. Let's get right into it. And you know, Batista in that main role was really good. I haven't seen much of Batista, to be honest, apart from him playing Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a character that doesn't have loads of dialogue and it doesn't really get to show, in a sense, full acting capabilities because he's kind of a comedy character in Guardians of the Galaxy. But this, you get that emotional side to Batista. You get more of him. You get some humor as well. You know, he's just excellent in this movie. But it's not like he gets loads of the screen time dedicated just to him because it's a big cast. You know, if you've seen the trailer, you know there's quite a lot of characters in here and it is balanced actually really well between every character. They seem to do that balancing act pretty solid. You know, it's not like some characters seem like they weren't getting enough time, but you know, you still get Batista just getting a little bit more than everyone else. And you know, all these characters were pretty likable, you know, the ones that are meant to be likable. And you know, there's obviously ones that you know you're not meant to trust and you kind of get a hint of that, you know, quite quickly. But all the ones you're meant to like, you do like, you know, they've all got a bit of something to them. They're all pretty likable and, you know, it's easy to just sort of get invested in them. Now let's talk about the zombies. The zombies were cool. They changed it up big time from what I've seen in other zombie movies. And it really gave me like a video game vibe. So you get two types of zombies in this. You kind of get your mainstream zombies. They're called shamblers in this, I believe. They're like the slow, walking, moaning, you know, they just want to eat, all that crap. And then you get the alphas. Now these are just built different. That's the easiest way to put it. They are quick. They're strong, they're very hard to kill, and they're actually very intelligent. They can't talk, but they can communicate to one another, these alphas, and they can command shamblers as well. But beyond them just being, you know, smarter and, you know, more deadly than the shamblers, they actually have a leader, which is something I've never seen before in a zombie movie. You know, a dedicated leader, he commands them, and he's actually pretty scary. He's very hard to kill. He has like armor, he has a zombie horse, he has a zombie tiger that sort of works for him as well. And that was cool. You know, they switched up the formula there. You had something different going on. You know, it's more often than not in zombie movies, it's just senseless hordes. You know, there's no zombie stronger than the other. You might get a big dude or something, but apart from that, they're all pretty much the same. So this was cool. And you know, that zombie tiger, badass. You know, the CG is pretty good as well, to be fair. Obviously, you know, zombie tiger, how's it gonna look? But it actually does look pretty decent, and you see it and you're like, oof, you know, you wouldn't want to come across that. And as I said, you know, the zombies are kind of like something out of a video game, like something you'd see in Resident Evil. But so is the gore. The gore's just awesome in this movie. You know, headshots are just, you know, heads exploding, blood splattering on the walls. They kind of got so many ways to kill the zombies as well. Like one guy's got like a freaking buzzsaw, you know, some people use knives. And these transferred really well into the fights, like the set pieces and stuff, because, you know, the combat was really cool. You've got like Batista getting in like a knife fight with one of these alpha zombies, and you know, they're like dodging and weaving, and you know, it needs to be more creative ways to kill a zombie. You can't just, you know, shoot it in the head. You've actually got to get in a fight with it, slam it down. It's like WWE. And once again, that was something different. That's what I like the most about this movie, just the variety involving the zombies and the way to kill them. It was just something new and different that I personally haven't seen in a zombie movie before. Now this movie is pretty long. It's 2.5 hours. Zack Snyder likes to make long movies, and I'm a big fan of long movies. Like when I see a movie is longer than 2 hours, my eyes just sort of light up. I don't know. It's just I love a long movie. You know, it's something you can just sit back, get invested in, and you know, long movies are usually better because they can just take their time with stuff, space it out, and it gives you more time to get attached to the characters. And you know, this runtime didn't affect the quality of the movie. It stayed interesting. I stayed invested throughout, and I wanted to know how it was going to end. You know, were they going to be a success in their mission to get this $200 million. I mean, it possibly could have had like 10 minutes shaved off, but it's not, you know, a big issue for me. I like a long movie, like I said, and for me, with something like this that I know is just a fun movie, like the longer the better. Like this movie could have been freaking 4 hours long, just 4 hours of zombie killing. I would have been happy with that. And you know, throughout this runtime, the plot does stay pretty strong, and you've got some subplots thrown in there as well, and the subplots weren't as interesting as the main plot, but they did tie directly to it. So it didn't feel like they were disconnected, and whenever you went to like a subplot moment, you were thinking, oh, can't we just watch the other bit? Because it did link, so that wasn't too much of an issue. And obviously there are going to be some twists and turns thrown in here. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are a little cliche, you can kind of see them coming. But you know, these twists and these subplots, they did raise the stakes. You know, it made things more sort of high tempo. It made things more nervy for all the characters. So it is good that they were in there, even if sometimes they weren't as interesting, or maybe they're a little bit predictable. But you know, they were necessary, and I can't really see them as a fault. And of course, no spoilers, but you know, I was happy with the conclusion of the movie. It's, you know, with a movie like this, it really could go either way, so you're not really sure how it's going to end, and it, you know, ended a certain way, and you know, I wasn't, you know, mad at it or disappointed or anything like that. I was like, you know what, that's a fine ending, you know, it doesn't bother me that much. Maybe it wasn't anything too sort of grand scheme or too large scale, but as with pretty much every movie, you know, the ending is pivotal in sort of determining whether a movie that's doing like good, like a movie that's doing 7 out of 10, is going to drop to like a 5, or if it's going to go up to like an 8, a 9. You know, it makes a big difference. And you know, this ending, it didn't like skyrocket it, but it certainly didn't make it go any lower. And you know, I think an ending is what gives a movie rewatch value. This movie has a lot of rewatch value. I do intend to watch this movie again someday, because this is a good movie and a fun movie. Overall, this is one of the better zombie movies. I mean, there's a lot of good zombie movies out there. There's some bad ones, but you know, they're pretty easy to avoid. You know, if they don't really make a big name, that you don't need to watch them, or you know, they're really crappy and low budget or something. But this was a good movie. This is kind of actiony and fun, bit like World War Z. You know, it's a less confined story, which kind of makes it less horror and, you know, more action, but I think it does give it more rewatch value, because World War Z for me is something that I rewatch, you know, once, twice a year. It's a really good, fun zombie movie, and it kind of just throws you straight in, and I think this has the same sort of vibe. So I gotta say, Army of the Dead, well worth watching, and well worth rewatching. And you gotta give credit to Zack Snyder, you know, he's been to hell and back, you know, in the past couple years. So for him to just come back making movies again, he made, you know, the Justice League, his version of it, which was brilliant, and then he's made Army of the Dead. You know, it's nice to see him back doing great things, you know, in the film industry, because he's a great filmmaker, and I look forward to whatever he makes next. So yeah, if you've watched Army of the Dead, let me know what you think about it. Where do you think it ranks above other zombie movies? You know, do you think it's one of the better ones? Do you think it's not quite up there? Feel free to let me know in the comments, but thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one.